Okay, so that brings us to the end of the history lesson. And now we're going to start talking about thermodynamics. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about thermodynamical systems. We'll discuss this later as well, but I want to start off this discussion by defining what is a thermodynamical system. In order to define a thermodynamical system, I am going to have to first define, I'm going to divide this discussion into three parts. I'm going to define what is a system. I'm going to define what is a boundary. And I'm going to define what is a surrounding. A system is anything under consideration. Okay, let's write that down first and I'll explain. A boundary is anything that confines a system. And surrounding is anything else. We'll discuss these in detail, but here's an example I want you to keep in your head. We are all collectively here in Physics 404, correct? What do we make? A class. We also make a system. There are two constraints on us. What are those two constraints? Walls and excellent. So there are two constraints on the system. There is a wall. I think Casey, you said that, right? A wall is a real boundary. Got it? And time is also a boundary on us, which is not a real boundary, but it is kind of like we are bound to be here in this time. Do you see the difference? So what Casey said was a real boundary. What Aaron said was an imaginary boundary. Like if you decide to leave and never show up, I can't do anything about it, right? You can walk out right now. There is nothing that's preventing you from walking out. But that boundary still exists as long as we are a system. Make sense? So the boundary could be a real one or an imaginary one. Well, not an imaginary one, but a less, how should I say that? How do we define that time boundary? Like a limit?
Less limiting.
No, but you guys get the picture, right? So the boundary is very hard to define. And again, the same thing about surrounding. What do we call our surrounding? That's harder to explain too, right? Is our surrounding the hallway outside? Is our surrounding Fisher? Is our surrounding Sealsborough? Is our surrounding America? Is our surrounding the world?
Yes.
Is our surrounding the solar system? Is our surrounding the Milky Way? Is our surrounding the universe? Right? Those questions are more philosophical and also important. But anything beyond this particular classroom, in this particular boundary of time, is our surrounding. Do you have a question?
Just about for boundaries, like physical and theoretical,
Conceptual?
conceptual.
Physical and conceptual. That's a good word. Yeah. Let's write those down. I like those words. So boundaries could be physical and or conceptual. Ooh, I need to remember that so the next time I write that textbook.
We get credit.
Yes. I will try to remember who said that. So the conceptual boundary could be time, right? And physical boundary could be wall if we're talking about a class. That was a very good, yeah, I really like that. It's good. But yeah, so, and then the system is just us. Now, can the system evolve? And the answer is yes. So what if somebody has to go out and use a bathroom or go get a drink of water and then come back? Is that system evolved? Absolutely. Even within those constraints, the system could evolve. And that way, it will lead us to talk about what kinds of systems could we have. So there are fundamentally 3 kinds of systems that we worry about. Ooh, I'm running out of space. Okay, I'm going to cheat. Wait, what?
She said that's a physical boundary.
Cheating?
No, the space.
Oh, the space. Yes, that is a physical boundary. Oh, good point. So anything under consideration. And then we talked about boundaries, right? So there could be 3 main kinds of systems. One is an open system. One is a closed system. And one is an isolated system. Now, boundaries will play a very important role. Okay, what do you think an open system is? No, it has boundaries. Yes. So, an open system is this system. There is no way for me to forbid you to walk out of the door. Anyone can get up and walk away, right? That's an open system. It still has the boundary of both time and walls, but there is a way to get out of the system. So in physics, we define those kinds of systems in which both mass and energy can be exchanged with their surrounding. That's a fancy word of saying that. Right? And we'll write it down. Don't worry. Just pay attention to me for 1 second. Right? So then what do you think a closed system is? Okay, I'm going to do one thing. What am I preventing you from doing by doing that? What? You, as a mass, a physical mass. I'm forbidding the mass to be moving. Got it? So I'm forbidding. So like, Nick, try to get out. Right? You'll have to fight me for it, right? Yeah. So, well, apparently now it's an open system. But a closed system is where mass is not allowed to go out. Get it? So I physically close the door on you. Then what is an isolated system?
Either mass or energy can escape the system.
Yes, absolutely. An isolated system is where I don't even let your thoughts leave this room. Like independent thought. There's no way. I leave and you guys are still stuck here doing the work. Right? you're here and you won't leave because there's a project next to you, and your thoughts are, it's very hard for you to leave your thoughts of what you're doing, right? Sorry, if you've not attended independent thought. Those people can vouch for it. It's such a torture. Thank you.
It's not too bad.
So what is an open system? Where your thoughts and your mass are allowed to go wherever you want. A closed system is where I physically bar the door. And an isolated system is when your thoughts can't even leave. Right? You have to be focused here on what's going on. Got it? So now let's write this down properly, like we're physicists. Pretend we're physicists. Okay, so what is an open system? Mass and energy.
Be added and escape.
Okay, I'm gonna move this here. Okay, so in an open system, mass and energy are allowed to go in and out. In a closed system, mass is not allowed to go, but energy is allowed to go. And in an isolated system, neither of those two things are allowed to move. Okay, what is a surrounding then? How do I define a surrounding? Is my universe my surrounding for this class? Yes. Is the solar system my surrounding? Yes. Is the earth my surrounding? Yes. All of these things are my surrounding, but what is important? Literally just the hallway outside. So physicists tend to think of surrounding as the immediate surrounding. That's the word we use, right? What is important to measure just beyond where we're at? Got it? So in this case, I'm going to call this, pick a color. Purple. Purple. Anything else? I'm going to call this immediate surroundings. Yes, everything else is a surrounding, but we're only concerned about immediate surroundings. So this is a figure from the book. And those are quite good. Right? So this is our three systems: isolated, closed, and open. This is what we call a boundary. This allows either the flow in and the flow out. And this is whatever we call our system.